Welcome to this bronze medal match, day 3 of the Australian Mixed Ultimate Championships between Pompey Magnus and Chile Chimichanga, brought to you by ULTI.TV. Before we start, your commentators are Phil Shields.
And I'm Katie Snellgrove, and welcome once again to this match. As the players get ready, we'd just like to acknowledge today that we're playing on Warramai country up here in the beautiful Nelson Bay area. And once again, we'd like to pay our respects to elders past and present and any Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander people here today online or at the fields. It's been a cracking day of Frisbee so far, and I'm sure we're in for more excitement as our cameraman almost gets hits with a Frisbee.
Pompey Magnus playing in white, left of screen, start off on offense. Chile playing in their black strip, starting off on defense. So Chile will be pulling from right of screen to left. This should be one cracker of a match in the lead up to our finals, which follow straight after. So a big day of Frisbee here from Australia as far as mixed ultimate is concerned.
Definitely. So this is the pinnacle event for the Mixed Frisbee Championship calendar, within Australia. As the pool comes up from Tomragaki, both of these teams coming off the back of disappointing results this morning, being knocked out of their semi-finals. Both close matches, fighting hard, but coming off on the bottom end. I'm sure they're both hungry for this bronze medal. No one wants to go home with fourth. As we see Pompey Magnus starting on offense. A lot of experience on that team. Looking to start the game off cleanly.
So great start here with these two teams in this bronze medal match as a Huck goes up straight away, looking for the receiver in Bray. Bray comes down with it. So a very quick start indeed. 2-3 touches and then a Huck into the end zone from the halfway line. Gives Pompey the first point of this game.
It's always a nice feeling when you come out with a powerful, clean offense line like that to get yourself into the game. Gives yourself that boost of confidence.
Absolutely.
And the rest of your team.
It certainly does. Pompey Magnus just went down to half moon in a relatively close ending. Chile, however, bit of a trouncing, I'm going to have to say there, by Crank in the end. Chile got stalled at about the 4-5 point mark and really didn't recover from there as Crank took the game away from them. So Chile probably a bit more down than Pompey are, given that both have just come off of losses, as you just said. And so they really need to dig deep in their psychological arsenal in order to make a showing here at this bronze medal match.
Yeah, neither team can afford to let the other get a few breaks in these early stages, which can be really difficult if you are coming off a loss. So let's see what Chile can do here as that pull lands in bounds. It's a good pull. Chile having to take it from the sideline and Pompey getting down there to stop those early passes. Chile in a very awkward position, but she does well. That was Lewis to get that off the sideline there.
Finds relief in Cherry, goes up the field. Lewis still holding the disc, strong, close mark, not giving her anything. Goes up to Bleeser, who puts it long, looking for Miller.
Huge run down and grab there from Evie Miller from a great throw. Not sure who that thrower was, but we'll see on the replay. Chile is on the board, and they are showing that they are not about to be walked over by Pompey Magnus, the previous champions from last year. So that was Luke Bleeser with that beautiful throw there. And Evie Miller just had the legs to stay in front of her player, and an awesome grab.
Chile will be wanting to stay close in this one. They don't want to give Pompey anything. Trades at most. Preferably they do want an early break.
You often see in these tightly fought championship matches that the team that can capitalise on the early break often comes away with the win. You know, sometimes early on in the game, you feel like, okay, we've got time to get another break back later on, but I think it just gets harder and harder. So as soon as there's a break chance here, we'll be looking and seeing who can capitalise on that as Buxer puts up the pull for Chile. Thomas offloads to McClay. Into Wentworth. Back to Thomas.
Strong cut under by Tan. Down the sideline. Bit obscured here with the sideline. Can't see too much. That gets to Wentworth again. Wentworth looking and a dive.
I think that thrower was just falling to the ground as he dove for that one.
So there's a turnover there. Chile. Ragaki picks it up again. Quick pass straight away to receiver down the sideline. Back to Ragaki. Strong grab there. Defense all over him. There's a pick-up field. As play slows down. Restart shortly. I wouldn't be surprised if there's just a straight long cut. It comes under, but we have another cutter going deep in the form of Buxer. She gets it cleanly. Ragaki to Buxer. That's a brilliant pass and a brilliant receive as well. Well read by everyone on the Chile team. And they take the lead 1-2.
And that is a break, I believe, for Chile. Like we said, they knew that that was important there to put that one in the bag. And they've done that well. Seeing those long throws from Ragaki that we didn't see as much of in the Crank versus Chile semi-final that just happened. Let's see if Pompey can work to shut that down. It's kind of a whole team defensive strategy to prevent those long throws from coming up. Chile know that that's one of their strong points.
And Chile in very unfamiliar territory, having lost the last 2 games to get to this bronze medal match. And really looking to get back, stamp their authority early.
Ragaki with the pull for Chile. Pompey players knowing that that's going to go pretty far, not bothering to run away from their end zone just yet. Meehan with the disc in the middle. What's she going to do for Pompey in this game? One of their instrumental players.
Back to Thomas. Thomas now moving it back upfield to Meehan. Nice slash cut there, coming from Bray. Bray moves it upfield further to Carmen. Carmen down the sideline. That's going to be intercepted. Great D there by Kabai. She read that perfectly, came across, laid out for it. I think it was going to fall a bit short anyway, but she knew she still had to get it. And that lifts the team as well to see efforts like that from Kabai.
Yeah, these Chile players have shown throughout the tournament they're not afraid to leave their feet. A lot of them are quite strong, laying out. As there's a huge put from Ragaki down to Osmond in the end zone, and he bids, but he doesn't quite get that. Looks like there could be potentially an injury there for Pompey.
So I think that's Tran down. Great bid by both players to get that. Osmond slightly over the back there of Tran as he falls heavily into the ground. We see that on replay.
So this is the defensive block from Kabai. Awesome job to make sure of that one. Just seems to land a bit awkwardly there, Tran. Hopefully he's going okay.
Straight away, hits his head quite heavily. Also, legs buckling under him, and I think Osman landing on his legs as well. So he didn't really have much protection he could give himself with the hands out.
But he is walking off the field now.
He's holding
for an injury sub.
his head and nose. Hopefully there's no blood nose. He's holding his arm as well, wrapping that up. So he does look in a bit of a bad shape. Let's hope that he can return and that can get assessed and it's not too serious, as you said.
I think any time an injury happens on the field, all the players feel for whoever's involved. We all have probably had our own experiences with an injury.
Ultimate has a very strong community. Everyone knows everyone else. All friends around here. No one ever wants to see harm caused to any other player.
As Pompey is bringing it back in on the far sideline. Seeing if they can work it down the field. They like that far sideline, the flick side, and it's sent up. Lyra Meehan is running for it in the end zone, but Korea is on her, and she's done it. Huge D there from Korea of Chile.
Yeah, it was good flow there from Pompey. Carmen Tabre looking to Meehan in the end zone. It was a strong run from her, but the Chile defense holds up. Rigaki walking to the disc. Very familiar, number 42. Not too sure what this O-look is. It seems to be an isolation play from Chile. Going long. That may not make it. Oh, no, I think it's going to hold up. That's a strong grab there. Bit of time across. And we get McInerney getting that disc. So great play there. Dignam to McInerney to finish it off. That was fantastic play by Chile. They are opening this game strongly. They now take the lead 1-3.
Great job from Chile there. We actually, from the sideline, you could hear Dignam yelling for that disc. I think Rigaki was maybe looking for Miller or one of the other more centre downfield players, but Dignam really confused his defender and just screamed for it. And Rigaki sent it, and it's worked out very well for them. Pompey doing well to try and recognise and try and get the D there, but it's not to be.
We see McInerney receiving that disc. Quite an easy point in the end.
Chile getting an early lead here in this bronze medal match.
Pompey having nothing of that. They're not even waiting for them to get a 3-point break before they call their own timeout, limiting it to 2, knowing how important it is to walk away from these championships with at least a medal around their necks. So as soon as 2 points given away and the opposition has that lead, then obviously there's been a plan there by Pompey Magnus to call that timeout. Let's see if that works for them.
Yeah, Pompey maybe there was a bit of strat talk in that timeout. We did see that point both times where they almost scored. They were working it down that far sideline on the flick side. Let's see if they swing it across the field, use a little bit more of the width on this next point. As I'm sure Chile would like to continue with their momentum that they have managed to build over the past few points.
So Chile with 3 points in a row. Rigaki to pull. Pompey waiting patiently on their line. Here goes the pull. Another solid pull by Rigaki. Deep into the back of the end zone. Gets brought up to Thomas. Thomas moving it sideways to McKeevy. Back to Thomas. That's a great run by him. Keeps a foot in bounds. Almost a false start from him. Coming back. That's over the top. That's going to Alexander. Alexander centres it. Tan now. Back to Thomas. Sideways to Yannick Hira. And we have a score. That is brilliant flow. That is really nice play by the Pompey Magnus team. Moving it up the sideline, cross the field, back again. Just really nice flow. We're not holding the disc for very long at any one player. I really like the look of that.
That's what we're more used to seeing from Pompey Magnus. That timeout served them well. And you could see after swinging it across to the other side, they were able to generate a little bit more space. And in the end, just classic throwing to their open players on the open side for the goal. Great cut timing there. That was Betty Tan with the goal for Pompey Magnus, looking to scratch back at that scoreline, currently sitting at 3-2. So we see a little bit of cloud cover coming over today, but wind conditions are pretty still. There's a light breeze, but it's calmed down a little bit since yesterday.
Chile move the disc up the field nicely. Almost at the halfway line now. Looking for something long in their receiver of Buxa, and Buxa makes it look easy again. 2-3 throws from Chile into the end zone. That's what they want more of.
I think if Pompey are going to try to stop this Chile offense, they're really going to have to shut down those long throws, because we know Chile have the cut timing, they have the receivers, and they've got the throwers. And when they are allowed to come off those long throws, we didn't see many of them turn yesterday in their game against Manly.
So this start of this game for Chile is very different to the start of the previous game they had, because they are doing a lot more long looks. The last game that they played, they were shut down short. A bit of zone was played on them, which also impacted their ability to do those hucks into the end zone. Here, they're being given a bit more free rein to do that, to play their own style of game. And if Pompey allow Chile to play Chile's home style of game, then they're going to find themselves in a debit situation quite quickly. So Pompey really need to shut down that long game of Chile's in order for them to stay in the hunt for that medal.
Exactly. So we have the score as 4-2 now for Chile. And Chile seeming to put up a bit of a zone on Pompey here, trying something new for this game at least. Pompey working well through the hands of Meehan and Thomas. Not happy with the overheads just yet. There's not too much wind though, so we could be on for a hammer.
Wentworth looking for Thomas, goes back to Thomas. As this zone is quite effective, it's pushing them back. We've got Vidler, moves it up the sideline, going through the hands of Meehan. Meehan throws it, and I can see a rolling disc.
Chile got in the way of that. It was a huge D. I didn't quite see who it was, but Pompey were just working it down the line, and Chile has read that well.
Again, just apologies to our viewers at home. That end zone just down there in that corner is a bit hard for us to view and call.
It's just going over the top of Miller there, but scooped up by Pickard. Lucky not to cause a turn. High grab above the head for Osmond. calling for it downfield.
Gak's got that. Regaki all over that. I'm not too sure if that was meant for him, but he got it anyway.
And Kabai with the goal for Chile. Awesome work there from Chile. Really putting their stamp on that point. With a great D down in the end zone. And Regaki downfield claiming that huck that went up for Kabai. Just throw the assist to Kabai in the end zone.
A very different Chile team I'm seeing on the field. Smiles all around. And why wouldn't you when you're in the lead?
Exactly. It is easier to be positive when you are ahead. But very easily this Pompey team could come back.
I almost feel that for this Chile team, getting past 4 points has been the hump that they've been looking to get over, because they have stalled the last 2 games at 4. So to be in the lead and now at 5, getting quite a number in a row, that'll be a relief for them. That would have been in the back of some of the players' minds. Now they're on 5, push towards 6, 6, make it 7. Let's take half. You can see that in sight. That's what is possibly going through the minds of many of these Chile players now, that they find themselves in this position. As Thomas has the disc for Pompey Magnus.
Pompey once again working on that far sideline. Down, long shot. Betty Tan's in the end zone for Pompey, and she's done it. Awesome two-handed grab there from Betty Tan. I think that huck came up from Danny Alexander. Yeah, the girls. Awesome point there for Pompey. I think that makes the score 5-3, with Chile having progressed to 5 just before that point. And then Pompey adding 1 to the tally. Pompey looking happy about that. And there's Betty Tan.
Happy, showing the love. And why wouldn't you love it when you've just scored a goal?
As we do see Dennis Tran before, who did come off with an injury earlier in the game, back on the field. Seemingly well. What can Pompey do here? They haven't scored a break so far in this game, I don't think. So they're going to need to do something to claw back this lead, that small lead that Chile have at the moment.
I'm thinking a zone transition might be a reasonable look for them at this point in time. And they are clogging it up with a zone at the moment. More of a slight pommy look, I think. That's what I'm seeing here, and it is holding them at bay. If it gets beyond halfway, I'd probably transition, but it works for them. Well done, putting that zone on. Good thinking there. And we have Tran back on, looking well. That's thrown to Carmen. Carmen.
Bit of a bubble there, but she holds on to it well. Looking for a dump, having to go over the top. Never safe, but does well. That's hard to hold on to that. Hammer over the top, and Chile is in the way. Osmond reaching up above. Can Chile work through this defense? Bit of a poach there.
So they had the zone look. I think they're in a little bit of disarray. Some don't know if they've got the zone on or not. I think they're now forming a bit better zone, and they're saying it's down.
That did look close from this angle. Players just discussing whether that touched any of the grass or not.
It's accepted as a down.
Pompey here with another break chance.
Tran towards the disc. Let's see how fit he is, how much he's recovered from that grounding. Goes backwards to Ha. Nice strong cut in there by Grange. Grange looking for the dump back to Ha. Swing across.
Grange again with the safe hands, grabbing it out of the air, and they've done it. Pompey, first break of the game was Georgia Ewan in the end zone, grabbing that one for her team.
Yeah, and a good look as we were discussing at the beginning there, suggesting that maybe changing it up from match to a zone. Just again, as we explained in or talked about in that point before, Chile very comfortable with those huck looks. You've got to shut that down. That was a good point to put the zone on. Regaki wasn't on the line. Regaki much more confident throwing it through zones and selecting the player he wants to get it. This time he wasn't on the field. Pompey Magnus saw that, saw the opportunity, took it, they grabbed it, they ran with it, and it worked for them. It was really good to see.
So I'm pretty sure that takes the score to 5-4 Chile's way. Just a little bit different to what we're seeing on our screen previously. So score is currently 5-4 to Chile. As Lyra Meehan brings in the pull for Pompey Magnus. We've got Blisa in the middle. Pompey once again putting on that zone. It was pretty effective before. Let's see what Chile can do. We know in that previous semi-final, Crank's zone did make them have to work, but that was a good throw. Good option there to Miller. And over the top. Awesome grab there from, I think that was Turner.
Yeah, Turner doing well, bringing it back to Miller. Down the line, Buxer receives it. Nice small inward jinky cut. We've got a strong zone around, do we? No, just a few players poaching off to try and shut things down. That goes around. Will the defense get there? No, they don't. Chile get the score. Makes them 2 more points away from half.
Huge from Chile there.
As they extend their lead 4-6.
They did well to recognise that there wasn't too much wind and that those overhead and floatier shots were probably going to be on to break over that cup or that wall, what Pompey was putting on them.
So Chile breathing a small sigh of relief as they were stuck on 5 for a short while, making it to 6. As we said earlier, that this has been their bane at the moment, is not being able to get the momentum to complete half in the last 2 matches. And that is definitely one of the targets that they'll be looking for in this bronze medal match, is to be the first to reach that 8-point mark, to take half. Then they'll breathe a sigh of relief. Then they've got the second half of the game to contend with. They'll deal with that then, but at the moment, their primary job is to make sure they get the next 2 points and take half.
Exactly right. We did see an awesome bid there from the Pompey defender, but just couldn't quite get there. Let's see what Pompey do here. As Wentworth has the disc back to Thomas. In the centre there with Bray. Pompey moving it nice and quickly. It goes up to the end zone. Bucks is there, but Bray does well there. And I think we all do well to avoid a collision. Pompey, another quick, clean point on the board, showing that they are not ready to give up this first half to Chile.
And that was great play by Thomas. Thomas to Bray in the end. Thomas having the job of trying to throw around the long arms of Regaki. Regaki staying with Thomas, but Thomas being up to the task and equal, manages to get one off very quickly after receiving that. And Bray, I don't know if he was the intended target, but he was the one that ended up with the disc.
You could tell Buxer was there. If Bray hadn't gotten there first, I I think Buxer would have been there for the Chile D, but not to be. Brings the scoreline to 6-5 Chile's way. I wouldn't be surprised if Pompey comes out with that zone again. It was working well for them before.
And it will be interesting now that Ragaki is on the line to see how effective that zone will be. Even if he didn't have his well-known flick, he's got this very strong, flat, accurate hammer, which can go above anyone. So Chile now on the attack, on the hunt, as it goes into the hands of Turner. Comes down to Narayan. Narayan on that far sideline as Ha closes in on the mark. Narayan looking for Ragaki. Ragaki has gotten free. They use him. Now he sets up that gun of his, the flick. He's going to bring it back to Wong. Wong throws it around, I think maybe looking for Ragaki, but Ragaki was heading inward. So Wong releasing that a little bit too early. Ragaki not on the same page. Pompey get it back.
Yeah, that throw from Wong there just didn't have the quite right shape on it to curve back in the field, unfortunately. Ha, I think from Pompey is going to be walking that up the sideline a little. Pompey looking to break here. Undercut from Caitlin Grange. Wong working hard to try and get that D back. Pompey on that far sideline. Back to Tran. Wanting somebody to come and help him out so he can swing it across the field and open things up. Ha does that well. We've got Moore, Gavin Moore there. Back to Tran. Grange calling for the underspace and is just slightly overthrown. Can't quite get there.
Yeah, she had a nice strong line. She was running fast, the disc not on her line, just outside of it. She had to readjust. She tried valiantly, but unfortunately was only able to get the fingertips to that disc. As Ragaki brings the disc back in. He's looking long, and that was seen straight away by the defence, Gavin Moore.
Looked like a huge block from here, but whether it was a foul or not, I think there might be a call over there.
Ragaki's eyes were looking at Bleeser, who was just heading north towards the end zone. Following that, and I think the defender, Gavin Moore, saw that, knew there was going to be a wind-up, went for the big bid, did it, but has been called back. So Ragaki will retain the disc.
Miller gets it on the far sideline. Fakes it long. Looking for Narayan there in the middle. Out to Bleeser. Chile looking a little bit more static than before, but Miller once again working well for the team. To Kabai. Great partnership there. Chile scrambling to get through.
Ragaki demanding it. Who would refuse that? Over the top. There's that hammer I was talking about. Into the hands of Ewan and then Narayan. Sorry, not Ewan. But Narayan ends up with it in the end zone.
Great work there from Chile.
Turner, sorry. Getting my teams mixed up there. Turner to Narayan in the end zone. Chile get the score, 1 point away from half.
Important hold there for Chile. They did not want Pompey to catch up and level the scores. Just giving themselves a slight bit of breathing room so they can try and take half. And that's our first hammer goal of the game. We saw a lot of them. I think it was from Chile yesterday. 3 or so hammers for the goal in the one game. Chile once again working through the depth of their roster.
Yeah, and that was good to see. They used everyone on the field in that point and the point before, throwing it through everyone's hands, everyone working hard to make sure that they can take half. Disc goes up. James Osmond, the puller, and is just going to touch the sideline and land out. Thomas will bring that back to the brick mark. As he walks it back to the brick mark, let's look at the offense they're going to use, and they're going to use a horizontal offense. I'm noticing that all of the Chile players are standing deep. They're giving the under. So my question is, someone is going to have to take 1 or 2 steps forward and then do a sharp turn. Who's it going to be? And there it goes, center of the field, straight away. We've got an under there in the form of McClay. McClay brings it back towards Yanagihara. Yanagihara, there's a pick. No, there's someone on the ground. I didn't see what happened. Did you see what happened there, Katie?
I saw Korea fall just a little bit ago. I'm not sure. She might have just signaled to call a foul there. It was off the disc. 2 players streaking through there. She might have just been tripped by somebody.
Maybe just catching someone else's feet. So Yanagihara has the disc. They're now discussing when the call was made and what the stall count will come back in on. Game advisor has come in just to check everything's okay. Everything's been sorted out. So a bit of time for tactics and discussion to be communicated from the sideline to the players on the field. Coming in stall 2 as the disc is tapped back in. Looks for the dump straight away. An inside throw. That's a nice throw there. Goes around. Got Thomas. Currently in the hands of Moore. Moore a bit static as the upfield players are not cutting strongly for her either. So Lacey Moore. Is the disc in play? Looks like a false start. Let's see again. Wait for the tap in. Nice and clear, there it is. So now players are off. Looking for the break. That's a great break throw across there to Hammer. And back again to Thomas. Thomas misses Yamagihara. And we have McClay to Bray to finish off the point for Pompey, sorry. They are not done with yet. 6-7 is the scoreline.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Is it Pompey or Pompey?
It's Pompey.
Pompey.
I see it and I say Pompey. I can't help myself.
That's all right. You're from South Australia.
That's right. You've got to give me some excuse. If it was me, I would have spelled it double E at the end.
Or maybe an I.
Maybe. English is a funny thing, the way you can have sounds, combinations of letters make different sounds.
As we see Chile lining up for this offense point, really wanting to keep this one a clean O point, not make things too hard for themselves.
I'm wondering how many of them are feeling confident, how many of them are feeling nervous at the moment. How closely are they looking at the scoreline?
I think they, at this point, wouldn't be focusing on it. Probably more on the process, what they need to do to get the disc down the field safely and score the next point. I think sometimes when you focus too much on the scoreline, you can get in your own head a little bit.
You start overthinking things and you get out of that flow state where things just, your kinesthetic memory doesn't work as well because you're in your head.
Miran with the pull for Pompey. And we've got an offside call. We saw this happen a little bit yesterday. If you're not sure of the offside rule, the game advisors stand at the end zone line for either end and they signal with the cross of their arms above their head if that team was offside. And the opposing team can choose to call that as an offside if they would like. And in this case, I think Pompey has called the offside, allowing them to set up where they would like on the Chile players, which is quite a big advantage particularly when you have a good pull like that. It's hard to chase down.
Yes, so now Chile with some work to do as they set up a horizontal stack. They go into the flow as Narayan gives it back to Lewis. Narayan wanting the disc, gets it back, demands it back on the sideline, only gaining about 3 or 4 metres. Strong mark there. Comes back to Lewis. Lewis over the top. It's Kabai. Kabai looking for Ragaki. Ragaki goes long. There's the flick that's going up.
It's curving back in, and Buxa, does she toe it in? I'm not sure. There's going to be a discussion about this one.
We'll have to look that on replay. As we said earlier, it's hard for us to see that side, that corner of that end zone. We can see it here. We've now got a replay. 1 foot in. Catch, then down.
She's made it harder than it needs to be.
A comment from the crowd made it slightly harder than she needed to. Could have kept that foot in the air for slightly longer. There was only a few frames in it, but I think that was there and the right call was made in the end. So Chile take half 6-8.
A very intense first half of this bronze medal match at the Australian Mixed Ultimate Championships here. Stream brought to you by ULTI.TV. Thanks for watching. We'll just have a few replays as we go into the halftime break, and we will be back for the second half.
Yes. Catch down. So close. Thank you. Yes, sorry. We'll be back after these messages and highlights.
Is a combined national calendar something that you'd be in support of?
I think definitely, depending upon the format that it takes. I think an off-season is really critical for player injury prevention and then also for development of youth players and development players. But I think it's important that we consider the format that it's going to take.
Fantastic. So what changes do you personally want to see the AFDA make and why?
I would be a fan of including the off-season, like I said, but in a way where we'd have an extended AMUC AUC season where the two tournaments aren't played at the same time but potentially 8 weeks, approximately 2 months apart, so players could feasibly play in both. They would be training for potentially both during the pre-season. Then they would compete in either AMUC or AUC, whichever is held first, and then have 8-week period to recover from injuries and then focus on the next tournament and then play that one, and have potentially a 4 or 5 month off season while still being able to feasibly play both. I have seen this model in Europe and I think it's quite effective for having athletes able to play in both different tournaments.
And why is it important that everyone gets involved in the process and has a say in this national calendar review?
I think everyone, regardless of where they are in their Frisbee journey, if they're playing local league, if they're playing up to the elite level, I think it's really important that they get involved in the program and in the review, because I think often we can prioritise elite athletes, which is really important, but I think it's important that everyone gets to say, regardless of where you are, and even if you're not participating in these tournaments currently, potentially why aren't you participating and why would you like to see things different in the future?
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with ULTI.TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
Welcome back to this second half of this match between Pompey Magnus and Chile Chimichanga. Story of the first half, for those of you who are just joining us, is that Chile held on a narrow lead pretty much from the beginning, all bar 1 point, and Pompey Magnus came back to within 2, but Chile took out half 8-6 in the end. So let's see who wants it more in this second half. Can Pompey Magnus mount a comeback, or will Chile extend their lead and run away with this to take home that bronze medal?
Very excited to see what happens. As we just saw some of those stats come up, both teams having quite a few break chances in the first half, and Chile being the one to manage to convert more of those, but still leaving a few break chances unanswered, as we see Narayan with the above head grab for Chile into Brigaki, and he's sent it to the end zone to a very, very free Kabai. Can she toe it in? She does.
Have we spoken too early? This is exactly like what happened at the end of the first half in the same section, so we're blindsided. We can't see it because of all of the cheer squad down the side. We'll have to look at the replay once more. It's going to come down to a VAR, video assist review.
As we see Kabai in the hands.
I think she had her foot down, but then it came up in the air, but she had her foot down when she took that first grab. That's my gut feeling, and it's been awarded that way on the field. See it again now, yes. Little bit of a stumble, but I think definitely had that foot down. Again, only a couple of frames in it. I think Chile need to go back to Melbourne and start practicing those toe-ins so that it's a bit more obvious that they've made the score.
Yeah, luckily for their live replay there. As we see a little bit of celebration from the Chile team. Still bringing that same intensity that they brought to the first half out, getting down, kneeling on the line, what we'd like to see, particularly when we've got such big teams here. All of that energy from the sideline can help lift the players on the field tremendously.
So the next target for Chile is double digits, now that they're knocking on the door of that at 9-6. Pompey just wanting to claw it back 1 point at a time.
Pull goes up. Pompey to call the offside.
So Chile in all sorts of offside trouble here at the moment. Again, something they may need to go back and practice, as game advisors are seen more and more often, especially in these high-level medal matches. Everything is seen, nothing goes unnoticed.
Sending it up long to the receiver in the end zone. Is she going to get there? Huge bid and just ground strip. I think she had that in her hand. That was Yanagihara. So close.
She put 100% effort into that. I thought she was going to come up with it. She had it in her hands, but just the ground as she came into contact with it knocked it out of her hand. Again, a bit blindsided, as we see it being brought into play. Bleeser, and a great D straight away. That was by Bray. Can he get a double happiness out of that? I'm sure his teammates will want him to get that as well. It's brought back to the front. Very early, quick throw. Unfortunately, no double happiness for Macleay, but happiness for the Pompey team as Macleay earns that point for them.
Yeah, a little cheeky one over the top there from the Chile. Had only just set a pivot foot and didn't waste any time. Didn't want the, sorry, that was from Pompey. Didn't want the Chile defenders to get any sort of advantage on them. As we know that sometimes those end zone plays are very difficult from an offensive side of things. You've got a lot of people in there. As we see that great block replayed, and then there's the goal. Pompey hold, keeping themselves well within striking range of taking this game away. Bronze medal on the line. As we see some of the Wollongong players there relaxing before their final, which will be streamed right after this game. So stick around. Pull coming up there from Ha of Pompey. Miller receiving, sending it to the middle. Huge bid, and it's an overthrow. Turn for Chile. That bid was from Turner.
Yeah, straight through the hands of Turner there. Great effort, but unable to secure it. And Pompey now with their chance to score. Comes in the form of Eric Deng. Brings it back. He has to deal with the long arms of Tom Ragaki. Does well to get it to Grange. Grange, big put. That's over to Alexander. Alexander centers it. Sends it backwards. Ha. Sends it long. He sees the receiver in Moore. And Moore comes up with it. Emphatic. He believes he has it.
Seemingly a bit of contact there. There was a Chile player seemingly in the right position. Might have gotten knocked over in that contest. Unsure if there's any call coming up. Did seem like she had the positioning. I think we're having it called as a goal, but maybe a little bit of a sour taste in the mouth with contact that, hard to say from here, but maybe could have been avoided. Wanting to keep the sport safe for everybody involved. Seeing that replay just now, I think that might have been Miller. Just kind of got jumped over the top of. That was Kabai, sorry.
Yeah, so I was blindsided when the jump actually went up. I just saw Moore come up with it, threw it into the ground. But again, I think the real issue was that there needed to be a bit more concern for the player that was left on the ground. And hopefully that can be resolved as the game continues.
Chile still up, 9-8. Pompey, that was a break for them. Second one of the game. I'm sure they will be looking for more of those as we continue. I have had that confirmed by Sutas. Pompey are in fact looking for lots more breaks. We'll see what Chile can do. Meehan with the pull.
As it goes up, Ragaki will receive that and throws it to Lewis. Lewis moves it up that strong sideline. Now in the safe hands of Turner. That goes long. And that's an absolutely great grab by Buxer as an answer to that. And Chile are celebrating.
They're pumped about that one, and they should be. That was a great read from Buxer there. She's really proven herself throughout this tournament in the end zone as being very capable of getting herself in the right position and getting her hands on the disc. Meehan in the right spot, but Buxer proving to be too dominant for that contest.
Line is being called by Regaki. One of the two line callers, himself and Evie Miller, I believe, are the two line callers for this Chile team. And now looking at matchup, so we're going to go for a match defense look from the Chile defense, if I'm interpreting this correctly.
Pull to come up here from Kabai. Let's see what Pompey do. We know that they have the skill and the confidence to just work it nicely with open passes to the chest into the end zone. Huge bid there from number 17, Hammer, keeping that one alive. Back to Thomas. Into the center. Another one. Carmen. Girls getting off their feet. Bray with the disc. Not liking what he sees at the moment. Just waiting for a safe option. Into the hands of Thomas. Chile doing well to stop that dump from receiving the Frisbee up the line. Out to Carmen. Thomas looking for it. He sent it and a bid, but it's not quite in. Bray. Back to Thomas. Chile trying to stop that, but they can't stop the powerful duo of Thomas and Bray. Working well together to get Pompey another one.
A great cutback from Bray, making it look like he was going to clear out hard, turn, came back into the same space for an easy catch. There's that hard turn back. Fakes out his defender. It's a great move that he played there. And his defender won't forget that move. I can promise you that.
No, it never feels nice to be scored on in the end zone. Chile here on offense. Only up by 1 point at the moment. 10-9. Anybody's game. We still have plenty of time left on the clock.
And that pull by Ha going out near the end zone. Regaki old school claps above his head to indicate he'll bring it back to the brick mark.
I didn't realise that that was a signal for a brick. Haven't been around long enough.
Very old school.
Chile setting up in a horror here. Pompey looking to stop that long shot that they know is going to come at some point from one of Chile's throwers, and it's Evie Miller who sent it up, and huge from Kabai to read that. Pompey unlucky to get a hand to it. That was a zingy shot from Miller. And Chile has done it.
Regaki to Narayan. brilliant play. Pompey Magnus, as that disc went by two defenders, had two very close opportunities to get the disc back, unsuccessful as the play continued down this near sideline, ending up in the hands of Narayan for Chile to make the difference two.
That put from Miller had a lot of power to it. I don't think that if it had any more float, it might have been a bit of a contest there, but Kabai read that well. Offloading it to Ragaki has been instrumental in this team's success so far. But Chile putting another one on the board.
This is going to be a very close match when it comes to the end here, I feel. Thomas lets that slide past him. Centres it to Wentworth. They've been their two main handlers. Comes up the near sideline. It ends up in the hands of Vidler and back again. Now McClay gets it. We've got Bray back to Wentworth. Looking for Thomas. Taking it back about 5 metres again. Yanagihara out to Wentworth again. Centering play. Thomas is asking for it. Now in almost dead centre of the field. Fancy catch there by Vidler. A lot of hands. This is going through now in the hands of Moore. Yanagihara. And finally ends up in the hands of Wentworth, where it almost started. So that was really nice play. Good flow. I really didn't see a lot of Chile defense there at all. What were your thoughts? What did you see during that play?
Well, it was interesting. Chile did seem to come out in a sort of arrowhead zone that Pompey managed to get some short passes off and kind of break through quite quickly, and then Chile had to transition to a match. And I think potentially we're just on the back foot, not quite tight enough to their players there, and maybe could have been a little bit tighter on that mark. Couple of inside shots coming off towards the end zone that are hard to defend downfield. We just see this one there, trailing a little bit on their players. It has been a tough match, but it's making it hard for themselves to get anywhere close to bidding on any of those shots there.
So Chile playing a bit of defensive catch-up in that point. Let's see if they can have a clean offensive point here.
Miller to receive the pull out to Narayan. Pompey with the zone, and Chile's put it over the top, and Tran has come down with it for Pompey. That's not what Chile want, but it is what Pompey are looking for if they can get that, and it's just gone over the top. Break chance, unfortunately thrown away there by Pompey. Miller once again with the disc. Can be difficult to start from a static start this far downfield, and she's gone a little bit high there. Luckily, no one from Pompey is too close to grab that one.
Yeah, almost looked like Ha was going to jump over the top, and we know what a leap that he has, so that definitely was potential there as it comes across to Turner. Takes an extra couple of steps. Could be a bit of a give-go play here with White. White, Turner. White gets it back, looking for Turner in the end zone. Doesn't get that. Narayan is the dump over the top. And we have a toe-in for Korea, I believe it was.
Chile loving that sideline, trying to get as close to it as they can. As you see, a team celebration there. They're very happy about that.
That was a very fancy celebration. I did like that. I'll buy into that one. I'll take some shares in and stock in that one. Well done and well deserved. Scoreline is now 10-12 to Chile.
That was great there. As we see the replay of the two Chile players giving those little give goes, that was made possible by a great cross-field, over-the-top flick by Evie Miller that Turner or her other teammate could run onto, just opening up that field and catching Pompey on the break side. Scoreline's getting closer and closer to 15 here. Chile chipping away at it.
So Wong given the pulling duties for that one. Again, slight miscommunication. Who's going to pick that up? Thomas does in the end. Centering it across to McClay. Thomas has it back. Sends it off to Carmen. Carmen back to Thomas. Few free players looked off. Another one coming back to McClay. Up the sideline we go. Through the hands of Bray. A lot of hard work being put in by McClay, but it turns.
Just went over the top of Moore there. Chile frantically yelling the thrower is on. Regaki choosing not to send it. I think it's a good option while his team rushes through to the end zone. Buxa, safe hands to Wong. Osmond with the disc on the close sideline. The hammer's gone up. Is Regaki going to come down with it? He does. Chile with the break.
That was so interesting to look. I was watching Regaki at the back there. As he made his turn, his hand went up into the air long before Osmond made that throw to say, I want the disc, just put it over here, I'll take it down. Osmond responded, and you know the result.
Yeah, he wasn't even looking. He knew Osmond had the Frisbee there. Perfect spot for a hammer. Catching the defender from Pompey off guard.
You see that hand go up there from Regaki, just in the background. A nice early leap, which you'd have to do against Regaki. He's sitting down. He's happy with that one. He's pumped. He's happy. Thumbs up.
Chile extending their lead to 13-10. What can Pompey do here to bring that back?
Haven't seen their zone look defensively, but they're on offense at the moment. So I think just keeping that quick flow, they don't want to hold it up in anyone's hands too long, as Wentworth looks at that. And the Chile defense comes down. They're stuck a little bit on their line. That's a nice up the sideline cut. And we have Tran going long. And he's forced to jump early. That was the Chile defense that got into Tran's head. That's Dignam. It's great work from Dignam. Pulled Tran under. Tran unable to play it as he would have. He should have just gone around with the disc, but Dignam making him, forcing the error there. That was great work. Narayan picks up the disc. Vidler on the mark. Quick first cut there from Picard. Picard doing a lot of grunt work there. Still moving. He's free. Can it get to him? It can't. Ha pulls that one in. That was brilliant play there by Ha. Trailing by a good few bodies. Through the hands of Tran. Ha sends it to Alexander, Danny Alexander for the score. Well-deserved play by Pompey Magnus. Ha, great work. Can't speak highly enough of him through that point and his work rate.
That was great there from Ha. Just seeing Chile maybe slightly rushing with that pass a little bit too much, trying to use the momentum that they had. Let's see a replay of that goal there. Danny Alexander quite free in the end zone. As we see that Chile, I believe, have called a timeout. Probably trying to stop the momentum that Pompey has probably built from that point, getting that awesome D. Critical point of the game here. Chile within 2 of the bronze medal for the Australian Mixed Championships.
They can almost feel the sash around their neck at the moment and the weight of that medal against their chest. Just 2 points in the way of that feeling for them.
2 points and a very fired up Pompey Magnus.
Yes, what will Pompey have to say about that equation?
This is where Pompey has got to get a break here.
Both teams very capable of winning this bronze medal match. In almost perfect weather. Good sunshine, slightly overcast, mild conditions, good surface, no excuses. The result riding fairly and squarely on the skill set and the team cohesiveness of both of these teams.
It has been a great game to watch. Both teams using the depth of their rosters throughout the game. There's nobody on the field that isn't doing anything to help out their team at all. And everyone's got a lot of trust in each other on both sides. As the pool goes up, it's a long one. Miller to receive calmly down there. Into the hands of Narayan. Well, there's a pick called.
An early pick. He did want to send that. He holstered it though, which I think was the right option in the end. So Narayan. Haas on the mark, fair distance away, giving him plenty of options. Maybe a short pass and a give go.
Chile, use this.
Now we're set. Narayan to tap the disc in. Haas shutting down the huck. It's a front up mark as it gets sent through the hands of Bleeser. Bleeser comes back. And is that Ha again? It is Ha. Has he put too much on that in the excitement?
You just hear the collective sigh from the sideline there after Ha's awesome D, just to put a little too much zing on that huck and give the chance back to Chile.
He got a bit ahead of himself. He does have the skill set to put more touch on that. I think it was just the excitement from that D and the one he had previously just hyped him up and didn't settle himself enough into that throw. Narayan to bring the disc back in.
Undercuts for Chile. Well covered by Pompey with their match defense, and we're in Callahan territory here. And we know that these few players in the end zone, and an unfortunate trip. Not sure if it was a call. A foul seems to be being signalled there. The Chile player did fall as she was about to receive it. That was Beth Cherry.
I didn't see the contact that occurred. But she will receive it as the foul has been accepted.
Osman looking for it in the middle, but they're going to dump it back. Chile really wanting to get it out of this territory, knowing how hungry Pompey is. Chile staying calm, but it's looking a little bit chaotic there, as there's a call once again on the throw, I think this time. Or maybe it was a pick.
So Turner with the disc in hand. Will you look for Bleeser again as a centering pass? Looks like he'll be strongly marked either way. So Turner is going long, goes for that option. And a nice bid to knock it away by Gavin Moore. In the attempt though, he has given Chile some good yardage. He comes off a little bit injured.
Yeah, that disc just rolled and rolled and rolled. Chile hoping to trap Pompey on their end zone line here. So we have some injury subs and some fresh legs for Chile coming in.
And ground tap to indicate that we're now back in play as Thomas walks towards the disc. And we've had a double substitution, so a couple of fresh legs. Hard for us to see that sideline, so we'll call it as best as we can. Thomas, right on that front corner end zone, goes long, goes big. Is that going to come back in? He'll need to touch it. He sidesteps and he's brought it back in. We have to run back to bring that into play. Tran centres it. We've got Meehan with the disc at the moment, looking for anyone who makes themselves available. Thomas is the relief valve. Tran is there. Does it go back to Meehan? No, that is Carmen. Well done, Carmen. So good thinking by Meehan initially. Centres it, and a great cut in the end by Carmen back into that same space. Give Pompey Magnus another chance as they claw back within one. Score is 12-13. At the moment, the game is to 15. I'm not too sure how far away that siren is to full time.
As we just see a replay of that great toe in there from Dennis Tran. Had quite a bit of space, making sure of it. We know we've had a few calls on that line so far in this game.
Thomas made him work for that.
He did. Did indeed. Pompey looking dangerous here. Hoping that they can use this momentum to score a break and even out the scores. Looking like it's going to be a very interesting final 20 minutes.
Will this go to universe? There's every possibility that this could.
I think I'd be feeling a little bit nervous if I was on the line right now.
This is where people who thrive under pressure come to the surface and show their true colours. Betty Tan with the pull for Pompey Magnus. It's a nice pull. It's floating. It's going the distance. It's picked up and centred to Rogacki. He wastes no time in releasing that. He's looking for Turner. And he helps the player up. It is a score. Great work there. As I said, Rogacki wasting no time. Doesn't want to mess around with this disc. Send it straight to Turner, who's heading towards the end zone. Turner picks it up in stride, looks after the defensive player who went to ground, and Chile 1 point away from taking the bronze medal.
Yeah, that was great positioning there by Turner in the end zone. I couldn't quite tell who the defender was, but I think Turner knew that that defender had every chance to jump and reach, as we've seen them do all day, Pompey. Turner did well to get his body in the way a little bit there. That was dang. Valiant effort.
Great spirit there by Turner, who's about to spike that disc, recognised that the defensive player was on the ground, looked after him, made sure that he was okay.
If you're only just tuning in, we're here at the Australian Mixed Ultimate Championships. Bronze medal match, Chile, 14 points to 12 against Pompey Magnus. Pompey receiving the pull on offense. What can they do? Bit of contact there. What can Pompey do to rein in this lead?
Chile have got the disc back, intercept.
A chance here for Chile to take the bronze medal. Can they keep their cool? It goes up, and they've done it. Chile Chimichanga are the bronze medalists for the Australian Ultimate Mixed Championships for 2024.
Div 1, indeed they are. They've done that well and in style. An easy intercept. They go in, they're hugging each other. It's been brilliant play. Just quickly, if I can ask you, Katie, who have been the players of this match for you from both teams? Can you pick one?
It's hard to pick one, but I think for Chile, I'd have to go with Evie Miller.
Yeah.
I think she's done awesome getting free in the cutting space and as a handler as well. Some huge hucks. I'm not sure about you, but I think that she really did a lot for that team.
Can't disagree with that one.
Pompey Magnus, I mean, everyone on the teams, both teams. But we did see a lot of work going through the hands of Thomas and Bray, particularly in a few of those points working together quite well. And really keeping the team calm, opening the field up, and creating a lot of options.
Yeah, I've also chucked me and Grange and Moore into the mix there. Ha obviously played a pivotal role near the end there with a couple of defensive intercepts. But overall, great team efforts from both sides as we see that last point there. And it's been our pleasure to bring you this bronze medal match. Just recognising the team around us, Jay, Rex, we have Andy Baddocks who's joined us for this, Katie and Mike. My name is Phil Shields.
And I'm Katie Snellgrove. And that's us signing off from this bronze medal match. We will see you soon for the final coming up soon.
ULTI.TV.